problem? Everyone's good? CBC? We'll wait for CTV. CBC's good. CTV's good? Perfect.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Merci d'être venus à l'Hôtel de Ville ce matin. Thank you all for coming. Before we begin, and as we gather on this sacred land, I would like to acknowledge with deep respect and gratitude that we are on unceded traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. Today, we acknowledge and honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and we commit ourselves to the journey of reconciliation, healing, and unity. My goal as mayor is to make Ottawa safer, more reliable, and more affordable. Mon objectif comme maire est de rendre Ottawa plus sécuritaire, plus fiable, et plus abordable. We are making significant progress. We're keeping our tax increases low. We're investing in priorities, including public transit, public safety, and fixing our roads and sidewalks. We're taking action to address the housing and affordable housing crisis, supporting our local economy, and improving our municipal infrastructure. We're making progress, but there is still a lot of work to do. Nous faisons face à de nombreux défis en tant que ville. L'un des plus difficiles est l'itinérance. We're facing many challenges as a city, and one of the most difficult is homelessness. Unfortunately, like most other Canadian cities, we have seen a significant increase in homelessness. And I know all Ottawa residents are deeply concerned about this growing challenge. Je sais que tous les résidents d'Ottawa sont très préoccupés par ce défi grandissant. I know a lot of us struggle with the fact that despite our collective success and prosperity, there are still so many people who are left behind. We all wish there was a safe and warm place for every single Ottawa resident to sleep at night. This is something that every person in our kind and compassionate community cares about. And I'll say, as a parent of two teenagers, I'm particularly attuned to the number of youth who are homeless. Being a teenager is hard enough when you have a home to go to. It's almost impossible when you don't. We are fortunate in Ottawa that we have a number of very compassionate and effective organizations led by some really wonderful people who are responding to homelessness and supporting the most vulnerable in our city. I'm here today with a few of those incredible people, including Katie Burkholder-Harris from the Alliance to End Homelessness, Nina Gorka from the Youth Services Bureau, John Heckbert from Operation Come Home, Alan Reeser-McDowell from the John Howard Society, Joan Riggs, Mickey Adams, and Mary Dow from the Ottawa Aboriginal Coalition, and Mark Maracle, a member of the Housing and Homelessness Leadership Table. I'm also joined by Councillor Laura Dudas, the chair of our Community and Social Services Committee. And I wanted to acknowledge as well Councillor Ariel Troster, who's here this morning, and the great work that she has been doing on this front in collaboration with Operation Come Home. Nous croyons que tout le monde mérite d'avoir un endroit sécuritaire où se sentir chez soi. We are here today because we believe everyone deserves to have a safe space to call home. We are here today because we can't rest until that happens. We're here today because we believe Ottawa can be a leader in tackling homelessness. We believe that by working together, we can make real progress. So today, joined by these great community leaders, I'm making a big commitment. Aujourd'hui, en compagnie de ces leaders communautaires exceptionnels, je prends un engagement important. Je m'engage à mettre fin à l'itinérance chez les jeunes à Ottawa d'ici 2030. Today, I pledge to end youth homelessness in Ottawa by 2030. Ending youth homelessness is the first step toward ending all homelessness. That's because we know that almost 50% of those who experience adult homelessness were first homeless before the age of 16. The reasons that lead young people to live on the streets are often complex. They may be escaping a difficult, potentially violent situation at home. They may feel they have no other choice to protect their safety than to live on the streets or at one of our local shelters. No matter the reason, it's our goal to make sure that any young person who ends up in that situation, who ends up in a shelter, has the immediate support and assistance they need to find a safe and stable home. Quelle que soit la raison, notre objectif est de veiller à ce que tout jeune qui se retrouve dans un refuge bénéficie immédiatement du soutien et de l'aide dont il a besoin pour trouver un foyer sécuritaire et stable. We cannot do this alone. We can only achieve this by working together. We must take a Team Ottawa approach to end youth homelessness. We've already begun taking some steps toward this goal. In last year's budget, we invested more than $30 million in social service agencies to address the root causes of poverty and homelessness. We've also been putting significantly more money toward affordable housing and supportive housing. In the past year alone, we've invested $2.1 million for youth supportive housing, $1.5 million for shelter and transitional housing, and $1.3 million for Housing First programs. And so far, this term of council, we've invested a total of $82 million in affordable housing. With the investments we make in the 2026 budget, we're on track to surpass $100 million for affordable housing in this term of council. That's more than double the investment that was made in the previous term. Nous sommes en voie de dépasser les 100 millions de dollars durant ce mandat du Conseil, ce qui représenterait plus de double des investissements réalisés au dernier mandat. These initiatives and investments have helped, but we must do more to achieve the ambitious goal we are announcing today. In the months ahead, we'll announce some significant moves and share progress toward our ambitious goal. Today, I want to mention a few initial steps that we will take on this shared mission. First, as you know, we'll soon be introducing the 2026 budget. When the budget is presented, it will include investments and measures that will bring us closer to our goal. Lorsque le budget sera présenté, il comprendra des investissements et des mesures qui nous rapprocheront de notre objectif. Second, we will join together to run in the race to end homelessness. This is a new event being launched by the Alliance to End Homelessness, and I'm looking forward to participating, and I invite all Ottawa residents to take part. You can run, volunteer, contribute, or promote the run on social media or with your friends and your network. Every bit of support helps raise awareness and critical funds for the 75 social service agencies that are part of the Ottawa Alliance to End Homelessness. And third, I'll be participating in a very innovative event this fall. The University of Ottawa is organizing a hackathon where students, faculties, community partners, and sector experts will come together to co-design solutions to prevent youth homelessness. I'm honored to have been asked to be a judge for this event. This is a great opportunity to bring hundreds of people together to think creatively as we tackle this difficult problem. I'm very excited to see the ideas that will arise from this event. And in the weeks ahead, we'll announce other strategies and funding initiatives as we continue our march towards this critically important objective. Today is just the beginning. but you can't do big things unless you set big goals. So again, today, we are stating an ambitious target of ending youth homelessness in Ottawa by 2030. There is nothing more important than every person having a place to stay. There is nothing more important than ensuring our young people are safe. Il n'y a rien de plus important que de veiller à la sécurité de nos jeunes. Together, we can ensure that every single young person in Ottawa has a safe and stable home. The goal is ambitious, but the need is urgent, and I believe the solution is achievable. Today, I'm asking you to join me in this mission. Je vous invite à vous joindre à moi dans cette mission. Let's work together, all of us, to end youth homelessness by 2030. Travaillons ensemble pour mettre fin à l'itinérance chez les jeunes d'ici 2030. Thank you. Merci. Yeah, one of the best parts of my job is I get to meet all the amazing people who are leaders in our community, and there's no better example of that than Katie Burkholder-Harris, the Executive Director for the Alliance to End Homelessness and the co-chair of the Housing and Homelessness Leadership Table. The goal that we are setting today started with a conversation that Katie and I had in the spring of this year, and we've been working towards this announcement ever since, and it's been great to partner with Katie on this truly ambitious and wonderful initiative. So I'm going to ask Katie now to say a few words. Katie?
Good morning. It is a good day. We are so excited about this announcement. And I am one person in a big machine, and that big machine are a lot of other community partners that are working to end homelessness in our community, and with a lot of care and attention specifically to young people who experience homelessness. I want to start by saying this is a doable goal. We are not asking for something that is impossible. It is a stretch goal, but it is absolutely something that we can do as a community when the right people are here. We see communities reducing youth homelessness in different ways across the country. And Niagara Region is actually a leader in this work, and we've hired some people from Niagara Region to help teach us how we can do this too. As the mayor said, 50% of young people who experience adult homelessness were first homeless before the age of 16. There are a lot of reasons for that, a lot of discharges from child welfare leading straight into homelessness, not catching people in high school whose families may be in a housing crisis. But ultimately, this is about breaking the cycle. And it's about breaking that cycle into overhaul homelessness. So we know that by doing this, we are not just interrupting people's movement into homelessness as a young person, but truly long-term chronic adult homelessness, which is another goal that this city has. When we say the word end, it means that homelessness is rare, brief, and doesn't happen again. In other words, people don't get stuck. Unfortunately, right now, in the housing and homelessness system across the country, people are stuck. There isn't truly affordable housing available, and people are falling through the cracks. There will always be instances of someone falling into a housing crisis. We know this. But our job as a system, as a city, and as a community is to make sure that those folks get the support that they need as quickly as possible, and we don't prolong the cycle of crisis. This support is going to look different for every young person. For First Nations, Inuit, and Métis youth, Indigenous partners, and the Aboriginal Coalition, the Ottawa Aboriginal Coalition are leading the way by developing transitional housing for young Indigenous women focused on community, connection to elders, and healing, and it's called the Aging Out Initiative, and I really encourage everyone to look into what this is going to look like. This incredible and critical project in Ottawa will be breaking the cycle of homelessness for Indigenous young women who are leaving the child welfare system, who can become victims of trafficking and violence and even dying. Instead, this initiative is a holistic approach that creates connection to thrive for Indigenous young women. Agencies like U-Turn and the John Howard Society are working to scale supportive housing for victims of human trafficking, an increasing crisis for young people on the street in particular. Operation Come Home just launched a new leasing initiative, or a master leasing initiative called Housing Works, which aims to house over 170 young people in the coming year with supports. Youth Services Bureau has launched a new diversion initiative, hello Nina, and are seeing young people get diverted from shelter every day. In other words, we're preventing them from falling into homelessness in the first place. To reach a true end to youth homelessness, it's going to take coordination, a laser focus on prevention, and a relentless pursuit of permanent housing solutions. This is going to mean a shift in approach from managing homelessness to ending it. We will need serious funding from other levels of government to get this done. But ending youth homelessness is absolutely within our reach as a community. And I'm grateful to Mayor Sutcliffe and City Council for taking this head on and having the boldness to push for an end to youth homelessness. And I want to say, at the end of the day, everything comes down to leadership. Leadership is the special sauce to achieving big, important goals. And I think we're seeing that with the City of Ottawa right now and the community partners who are on the ground doing this incredibly difficult work every day. So I'm grateful to be here today, and I'm surrounded by good people who want to do the right thing in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. I will now invite each agency in alphabetical order to ask your questions. You may ask one question with one follow-up into the microphone before you. Both Mayor Sutcliffe and Katie Burkholder-Harris will be available to answer questions. Par ordre alphabétique, j'invite maintenant chaque organisme à poser une question et une question de suivi dans le micro devant vous. Le maire Sutcliffe et Katie Burkholder-Harris seront disponibles pour répondre aux questions. We'll now start with, nous allons commencer par Anya Caradaglia at the Canadian Press.
Hello, Mayor Sutcliffe. You mentioned that there would be some funds in the upcoming budget for this. Thank you. But otherwise, how are you planning to accomplish this? Can you give us any details or any idea of the strategy that you're going to use to actually accomplish this goal?
We need to do a lot of different things. So we need to invest in this area, and that will come with a budget announcement. In addition to that, this is all about prevention and diversion. So we're going to work with these wonderful partners here on some strategies that will make sure that fewer and fewer youth end up in a situation where they will become homeless. And that if people are arriving at a shelter, there's a strategy in place to divert them away from that shelter into a safe place where they can stay. So there's a bunch of different things that need to happen. Some of them are already underway. We're making progress. We need to invest more. We need to collaborate more. We need to innovate more. But there will be a number of steps that we will take in the coming months to ensure that prevention and diversion are taking place.
And are you planning to do this all on your own, or are you asking for help from other levels of government?
Love to have help from other levels of government, but I think the team is in place here, and all the people who need to be behind this goal are behind this goal right now. You see the agencies that are represented here, and there are others in the community that are working hard every day to achieve this objective. I think we have what it takes as a community to achieve this goal, and that's what we're going to do.
Thank you. We will now go to Joe Tunney at CBC Ottawa.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Working off that, and I may be asking for tomorrow's news today, but what are you planning for the budget? Can you give us at least a kind of a rough idea of what's to come?
That announcement will come later. We're still working on the budget, and there are a number of different components to it, obviously, and we'll be announcing all of the investments that will come in the 2026 budget at the same time. So I'm not going to announce that today, but again, it comes back to supporting the great work that these wonderful organizations are doing, and putting in place the resources that are required to achieve prevention, to make sure that fewer and fewer young people end up in a situation where they could be homeless, and to continue to the great work that's being done on diversion, which is basically about making sure that young people do not become a part of the shelter system in ways that make it more difficult to extract them later, to make sure that at the earliest possible moment, we are moving them out of the shelter system and into supportive and transitional housing.
Do you mind repeating that just en français?
Sure. Alors, pour le budget de 2026, nous continuerons à travailler sur le budget et les investissements seront annoncés à l'avenir proche. Mais pour cet objectif, nous travaillons ensemble avec les organismes communautaires qui sont ici aujourd'hui pour que les jeunes ne seront pas une part de le système d'itinérance, que nous avons des plans pour la prévention et pour la diversion pour les jeunes, qu'ils ne soient pas une part du système des refuges.
And then for question number 2, I mean, is there, since it's a 5-year timeline, and we mentioned significant funding needed, do we have a dollar amount kind of needed to make this, goal a reality? Is there an actual number floating out there?
Again, when it comes to investments, we'll talk about that at budget time, but I think it's always partly about the budget and about investments, but it's also about teamwork and coordination and collaboration and getting everybody working together towards the same goal. And Katie and I were just speaking about this a few minutes ago. It really is about bringing these terrific organizations together, each of whom are doing great work, and bringing that collaboration together, lining everyone up behind the same objective. And if our focus is on shifting from a situation where people are starting out in shelters and staying there to a system where we're preventing them from ending up in that situation, or we're diverting them when they arrive at the door of a shelter into something better for them, then that's where we're achieving real progress.
I'll just get you to say that in French. And
Sure.
Make way for others.
Alors, encore une fois, il n'y a pas une annonce budgétaire aujourd'hui, mais ce n'est pas seulement un enjeu de l'argent, c'est aussi, et peut-être plus important, c'est important d'avoir du collaboration, du teamwork sur cet objectif. Et nous avons des services communautaires qui sont représentés ici, qui travaillent très fort pour atteindre cet objectif. Et travaillons ensemble, nous pouvons atteindre cet objectif pendant les 5 années suivantes.
Thank you. We will now go to Caitlin Wilson at CTV Ottawa.
Good morning.
Good morning. How many young people are currently experiencing homelessness in the city right now? And given the timeline, how will you measure progress year by year?
Obviously, it's a fluid number. It's changing all the time. I was told the other day that it's probably between 50 and 100 young people right now who are experiencing homelessness. But of course, that's a snapshot in time. And then, those people will be helped in the coming days and weeks, and other people will arrive. So what I think about, if you imagine one day that we are able to cure cancer, it's not just helping all the people who already have cancer, but the people who will never get cancer, or who will, if they experience it, it'll be treated right away. I'm thinking about all the young people who have never experienced homelessness but might in the future. So it's not just about those who are currently homeless, but for years to come, having a system in place that means that a young person who would otherwise become homeless does not. And we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of young people over the coming years who, through prevention and diversion, we will save from a life in the shelter system, which is really powerful.
And I'm going to piggyback on some of the other questions. I understand you're looking for money from other levels of government. Have you had any commitment from them at this point?
I'm not necessarily at this point looking for an investment from other levels of government beyond the support we get from them on a wide range of initiatives that we're doing in the housing and homelessness space. So there isn't a specific ask tied to this goal to the other levels of government. I think we have what it takes in Ottawa to solve this challenge and to achieve this goal on our own, with the great people who are represented here today and with the team at the City of Ottawa, including Clara and Cale, who are represented here today. We have what it takes to achieve this goal in Ottawa, and we will.
Thank you.
Thank you. On va maintenant à Sébastien Pierrose, à le droit.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Monsieur Sutcliffe. Vous avez choisi la date de 2030. Est-ce qu'elle est réaliste et pourquoi se fixer un objectif de 5 ans et pas 10 ans, par exemple?
Alors, c'est un objectif ambitieux, mais j'ai parlé avec les experts et nous pensons que c'est réalistique. Alors, si nous travaillons ensemble, si nous travaillons fort, c'est possible de mettre à fin à l'itinérance pour les jeunes d'ici 2030. Et si c'est possible, c'est nécessaire.
Merci beaucoup. On va maintenant à Gabriel Lemarquand à Radio-Canada.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, M. Sutcliffe. Donc, une question un peu difficile, mais je me demandais, bon, vous avez dit tantôt en anglais qu'il y a entre 50 et 100 jeunes qui sont actuellement en situation d'itinérance à Ottawa. Si vous pouvez répéter cette donnée en français. Puis aussi, je me demandais, une fois que ces jeunes-là sont sortis de la rue, comment on s'assure que ces jeunes-là ne retournent pas dans ce cercle-là?
Oui. Alors, pour la première partie de votre question, j'ai entendu qu'il y a à peu près 50 à 100 jeunes dans le système maintenant, mais ce n'est pas seulement de trouver des logements pour ces jeunes, c'est aussi d'avoir un système dans lequel les jeunes à l'avenir ne seront pas qu'ils ne seront pas dans les refuges. Et puis, alors, la deuxième partie de votre question, c'est toujours les logements et les logements abordables. Ça, c'est ce qui est plus important, c'est de toujours avoir des logements et des logements abordables pour tout le monde. Et nous investissons dans les logements abordables plus qu'avant. Pendant ce mandat du conseil municipal, nous investissons à peu près 100 millions de dollars dans les logements abordables. C'est plus de double que l'investissement de le dernier mandat. Alors, s'il y a des logements abordables, les logements supportifs pour les jeunes et pour les adultes, les jeunes qui aujourd'hui sont dans les refuges, à l'avenir, ils seront dans les logements abordables et supportifs.
Puis ma deuxième question, c'est, vous avez sûrement vu ce qui se fait du côté de Gatineau avec le village transition, ce village de conteneurs.
Oui.
Est-ce que ça, c'est quelque chose que vous regardez aussi pour peut-être faire à Ottawa? Parce qu'on a vu des villes comme Montréal, Québec qui vont bientôt implanter ce système-là. Est-ce que, j'imagine, vous parlez souvent avec Mme Marquis-Bissonnette. Est-ce que c'est quelque chose que vous regardez peut-être?
Oui, je regarde ça avec beaucoup d'intérêt et il y a plusieurs solutions que nous considérons pour l'itinérance et pour les logements abordables. Alors, je ne sais pas si ça serait une partie de notre plan, mais je suis toujours à l'écoute pour les bonnes idées.
Merci. This concludes today's media availability. Ceci conclut le point de presse d'aujourd'hui. Thank you, everyone. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.